Hello, what's up, everybody? I'm Phritzy, and this is me talking to myself. If you're unsure of what me talking to myself is, it's sort of this journal idea where you would write in a journal, share your thoughts, try to sort out what is going on in your mind. Except this is me talking to a camera and posting this and sharing this. Partly one because I'm a creative person and I have found I get in my own way, and I'm looking for ways to. This is the hardest way in terms of, like, of course, I want to. Even me expressing myself is difficult at times, which is why I do this. But I'm looking for ways to overcome my insecurities and my shortcomings and sort of my self-sabotaging, and by recording this and putting it online and showing this to the rest of the world, this forces me to be much more open and I'm in a much more uncomfortable space when I'm showing myself to the world, as opposed to just writing in a journal that's hidden on my own. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but this is sort of my way of doing stuff. And I also, there's a little bit of a feeling of other people might learn from the way I go about the world, the way I deal with my struggles, and maybe you can learn from my mistakes. This is definitely not a motivational series or channel or advice, because I am not an expert at any of the stuff, especially, like I know me, but I really don't know me, so I would never want to give advice. But if you find any value of this, thank you for listening and thank you for watching. So this would be now my 20th video, and you've probably heard me talk many, many times about this idea of self-sabotage. And my first video, when I put it out, I was just like so sick and tired of doing the self-sabotage that I created a much more simple format, which is me talking to the camera, because there's a lot less post-production that I need to do. It's a little bit more simple on that end. But I set out to try to understand why I self-sabotage, why I get in my own way. And I haven't really fully figured it out. I've had some issues that I've kind of overcome, and I've explained certain things, but it's funny. Right now, I'm at a mental state where there is enough stress happening in my life that the time is right for me to self-sabotage. So what I mean is, like, when I first put these videos, first started putting out these videos, there wasn't a lot of struggles in my mind. But typically when I self-sabotage, it's when there's this enormous buildup of emotions and stress from external things. And I get to the point, I almost feel as if it's in some weird way a self-preservation thing. It's a self-preservation tactic. My mind is like, you have too much shit happening around you that you can't control in many ways. This other thing you're trying to do, stop it. You don't have time for that. That happened to me as a kid. When I was a kid, I was a pretty smart kid, but I would stop doing schoolwork, and I would stop doing schoolwork because, like, I would be dealing with family stuff. My parents were going through divorce, and it's like, even as a kid, it's like you can't express why you're upset. You don't even understand that you're upset really fully, but there's too much emotional stress, and you're dealing with the dynamics. Like when you're in sort of the elementary, junior high stages, there's a lot of bullying and being pushed around that you can't handle being able to just separate your mind and focus on a task like homework. And, so that would happen as a kid. I actually struggle a lot with the English language, which unfortunately is my native language, because of weird circumstances about how I was taught and being made fun of so much. As a young kid, I wasn't able to learn at the same rate. Again, because of self-sabotage, I had all the tools ahead of, set for me. I knew I had the capability of applying myself, but the pressure was too much. So I just admitted this to my mom the other day, is the one thing I ever cheated at in school was spelling tests. Spelling tests were, I think most schools, you have like a spelling test, like sort of elementary, maybe junior high. You have a spelling test every week kind of thing. It's like a list of words. And I got so tired of getting, it would be like 10 words you'd have to spell, or 20 words. And I get so tired of getting 0 out of 10 or 0 out of 20 and being made fun of and laughed at and feeling stupid, that I would write in the corner really quickly a bunch of the words. And I was smart about it. At first I would only write 1 or 2 words, because if I wrote all 20 words, for example, it would be obvious that I cheated. So I'd write 1 or 2 words. My teacher would be super proud of me and everybody would be proud of me. So it's like, I think I've been dealing with insecurities for a very, very long time, at a very, very young age. This kind of is a side note. Someone said to me recently, who watches these videos, you kind of know what's going on with my life, what's new with my life by watching these videos. And it's like, not exactly. This is just the first time I've decided to be honest and open. If you meet me in person, there's a chance that you probably know very little about me, even if you know me very well. I'm a highly private person, but partly because I've been so private, and there are some things you should be private about, I think, but I haven't been able to express myself, which, again, it's like, as a kid, not being able to express why I felt so insecure and so down and dealing with emotional issues from home. I wasn't able to express why I wasn't able to apply myself for learning simple English words, despite the fact that English language is kind of a bunch of BS. Anyway, so I had to learn that stuff later on in my life, and I still make weird grammar mistakes as a 31-year-old because I'm having to go back and sort of slot in the things that I missed. So that would happen through school, and then it happened so many times with my creative world, or sort of the creative stuff that I've always wanted to do. It's always this mixture of maybe so say I will be like, I don't have enough money or I feel like I don't have enough money for my job to pay my bills. So it's like I feel like I have to work full time. So it's like, okay, so maybe I can find time after work. And even something as simple as what I'm doing here, I've started to now put in some edits. From, like, to give you an example, from my first 18 videos to my last couple ones, it's the difference of being able to record, upload in about an hour and a half to 4-5 hours later. And I'm putting minimal edits in, but it's just, that's the nature of the beast on how it works. And to explain that is for a different video, I would say, but I'm putting a lot of weight on my shoulders. So kind of going back to when I was younger, when I would self-sabotage for, like my creative stuff, and I wanted to be an actor, this or that, is I would find the effort like I would find I wouldn't have enough time. And like you hear that as an excuse, so it's like, okay, I'm just making up excuses. I'm just doing these whatever. But you would kind of figure it out. You would sort of figure out, okay, so I have time on Thursdays and Fridays, and I can just say no to everyone else. But then it's like life really is good at throwing emotional obstacles at you. There was always weird family drama in my life, and it's been really hard for me to compartmentalize those negative emotions and kind of still focus on my creative side. It kind of goes back to when I was younger. I would self-sabotage. I wouldn't do my homework because I didn't feel like I had the mental or emotional capacity to do it. I felt broken all the time, which is in some ways why I went to video games, not as a permanent escape, but it's like it was some kind of therapy for me. I also really like to go hiking because it's a way to clear my mind. It's something, when I play video games, I'm focusing solely on a task and nothing can interrupt it. Like, of course, somebody can come out and say, blah, 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 interrupt you, but your mind isn't wandering, and sometimes you really need that. Anyway, so with all that weird backstory, it's kind of just giving context to this is not a new pattern that I've developed. This is a pattern that I have circled and fallen over myself over and over and over again. And so here I am, and I'm making video 20, and this past week has been fucked. And the past few weeks have been fucked. And all I want to do is quit. And I haven't even started. I haven't even built anything. Not really, but I get to that emotional I get to there's a lot of times where I feel like I can't. I didn't actually think I was gonna cry. I'll get to a certain point where I feel I'm up against an obstacle, and I'll kind of overcompensate. And if you look at the sort of the production or the amount of videos I was putting out for a couple weeks, there was a lot, and it was almost like an overcompensation, because it's like I so badly, even though I want this, I don't believe I can get it. I don't think I'm worth it. I don't think I'm skilled enough. So I try to overcompensate. I try to overproduce to the point that I start neglecting other things. So, like, for example, last Saturday or last weekend, I found myself getting frustrated with my wife because she, we actually had practical things to do. We have a kid coming on the way, and we need to get this house organized. And we did. We got a lot done, and it was great. But I was getting frustrated at her because I was like, I'm not making enough videos. I'm not da-da-da-da-da-da. It's like, that's not her fault. And I don't need to produce videos every 2 days or every day or every couple days. I could produce a video once a week. It's not really about the rate of output. It's just about the consistency of output. And I know that, but I get in my own head, and I get in my own way. And we sorted that out, and it was good. But then I found out this week that, so my job has been, I simultaneously love my job and hate my job at the same time. I love my job because I love customers, I love people, um, I love interacting with people, I love mentoring people around me, having engaging conversations. That's always been just a thrilling thing. And I like it. My work is very task focused, and I love tasks. I love the feeling of mastery. Like when I play video games, I love having heavy mechanics that I can master and overcome. It's just something about it. Like yesterday was a really good moment in the morning for me because I was on bar by myself during a really big rush, and I was just flying through it. I was just dancing around, flying through it. I was in my element. That's just like, it feels like home to me. So that was great. I just recently found out that my job, or my location, I'm not going to talk about the place I work at. I'm sure you can infer, but I won't confirm or deny where I work. But my location is shutting down, and it's been tough because there was almost a sense of relief, but almost a sense of dread. So relief, where the specific place I work has some really great positives and some really terrible negatives. The positives are the customers are super consistent. You're talking to the same, like 90% of the customers you're talking to every single day are the same people, and you kind of the extra 10% you're just learning and getting to know. But the location is we're right beside a safe injection site. If you don't know what that is, it's people who are, I'm guessing they need their heroin fix or whatever it is. They supply clean needles for people to get their fix. So if it's heroin, I'm guessing they get clean needles to do whatever it is that they do. And whether your opinion is pro that or not is kind of irrelevant to the fact that we have to deal with some negative drawbacks. So the negative drawback is sometimes people will take whatever product that they have, go to our bathrooms, get high as fuck, and then shit and bleed all over our bathrooms. And I remember last week, just a fucking mess. This is like 5 days in a row, I was cleaning up somebody's shit and blood from everywhere. Like, as much as like maybe people don't want to hear that kind of stuff, it's like that was my reality. That was my fucking week, and I was like, I can't stand this anymore. So there was a little bit of a relief, but it's like you find out that your place of work is shutting down. And I am being transferred to another place, but it's a change, and it's hard to sort out. And so I'm dealing with, despite the fact that I'm hyper excited to be a dad, and I love being a husband, I'm scared more on like the financial like hit that we're going to take. And I know we'll make it, but it's like when you're dealing with all day at work, dealing with shit, literally, it's just like another thing piled on. And I just felt like I'm being attacked in all directions. And so my mind is like filled. There's too much going on. There's too much stress. You can't handle this. Quit everything. Just stop it. Just end it. And I even said to my wife last night, or even actually an hour ago, I was like, I probably won't do any YouTube stuff this weekend. I need to like sort this shit out in my mind. But I have learned at least that there'll be something that comes over me, and I'll be like, you need to just do this. You need to sit down and just do this. And I actually had to, I've been working with other people to start other projects. I as a side project, I'm starting to look and work on this idea of a podcast for something totally different. And I actually messaged him this morning being like, I can't do this. I have too much going on. If you're listening, I actually, we're still going to do this. But everything in my mind, except like this small percentage, is like, quit, stop it, don't do this anymore. And it's painful. What's painful is this is what I want to do, but I have such an emotional roller coaster going on in my head that it's hard to sort it all out. And you would think, okay, well, I just need to compartmentalize all this stuff. And that's the problem, is I'm sometimes too good at compartmentalizing things. That's partly why nobody ever really knows a lot about me. I'm not an open book. This is me attempting to open up. And it's hard, which is why I'm doing it. But I compartmentalize things to such a point that I forget half the shit that happens in my day. There's a lot of just annoying, dumb shit that happens in the day that I just blank out. I just, which is useful. Like, if I'm at my job and once in a while I might have a shitty customer, I'm able to immediately compartmentalize that and go on to the next customer, and I'm not like shaken up about that. That's really useful. And again, like, as an actor, it's like if you fuck up your line, I'm not taking that fuck up in my brain as I go on. Or, me talking in front of the camera, I started, getting a little bit emotional. I didn't just derail myself. So, though that is good. But I guess the reason why I'm making this video is this is the only time I'm going through such an emotional, like, stress of I want to self-sabotage. And I guess me doing this, explaining this, kind of helps me understand why I do it, but also helps me share, because when I'm in a good mood, I can't really explain why I'm self-sabotaging. Not always. I'm just not there yet. I'm not 100% there to like really to express myself in a clear, perfect way. But my mind is fucked right now, and I think it's healthy for me to share it. Anyway, I think that's about it. It was kind of a heavy note to leave it on, but this is why I'm doing this in the first place, is to be honest about who I am, my situation, and hopefully somebody can get some value out of it. Maybe you can relate, like I relate to a lot of the music I listen to is very dark and heavy and negative, because I relate to those people who are in those darker places. So, maybe this can help somebody. And if not, then it's good for me. So that's good. I can't promise the next video is going to be more positive, but I feel better actually already doing this. So I appreciate if you did make it to the end of this video, or even just clicked on part of it. That's cool of you. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you just get some sun. Just have a nice conversation. Anyway, have a great day. Peace.